All right, we open inside Colony House, and let's be real. The vibes in this place are officially rancid. Fatima walks in and literally runs right into Elgin. Now, just take a second to remember their history. Elgin kidnapped her, Boyd basically went full John Wick on him in the Colony House. And Fatima? Well, she gave birth to Smiley. And we all thought Elgin was going to get a world-class beating from Fatima after everything he put her through, right? But instead, she gets surprisingly civil. She even asks how he's doing. Honestly, it's almost scarier than her swinging a bat. Elgin tells her Boyd wants everybody to get their story straight, which basically means they're hiding the truth from the town, because if everyone knew what really happened, people would snap. Then Fatima hits him with the line of the night. I don't want to hate you, but I need a favor. That right there is a huge shift. Fatima isn't just the scared girl or the angry victim anymore. She's officially moved into survival strategy mode. She's traded her emotions for a game plan, even though we don't know what the hell that is. We then cut to Boyd, and man, this guy just cannot catch a break. He's asleep, but it's not exactly a nap. He's reliving the absolute worst moment of his life, the day he had to put down his own wife, Abby. He goes to check on Acosta, who's currently in timeout after that whole ambulance joyride. She tells Boyd the ambulance situation wasn't really her, she was just losing it. Boyd tries to hit her with the usual, we're working on a way out speech, but Acosta is officially done with the hope peddling. And then she asked for one bullet, not to fight, to end it herself. That request tells you everything about where people are mentally in this town. Hope is running low. Next, we're at the clinic, and Christy and Marielle are doing the grim work of prepping the priest for his burial. Kenny, being the heart of the town as usual, brings over a few items from the priest's car for Sophia. He's just trying to be a decent guy, but Sophia? She's on a completely different frequency. She asks for a moment alone to say goodbye, and then things go from sad to absolutely unhinged. She reaches down and yanks out one of the priest's teeth. Her excuse? She wanted something to remember him by. Normal grieving daughters do not collect dental trophies. It makes you wonder, is she keeping a collection? A tooth from the priest? Maybe something from Jim? Is she building a souvenir shop of the dead? And speaking of Jim and the priest, did anyone else catch that visual? They both had the exact same scar in the exact same spot on their heads. In any other show, you'd call that a makeup error. In From, that's usually the writers waving a giant red flag saying, pay attention, this is going to hurt later. Whether it's a mark of the town or some kind of connection between the two, it's definitely not just a coincidence. Then we get Jim's funeral. The Matthews family is there, and the priest is being buried too. 2 deaths, 1 ceremony. That alone says how brutal this place has become. Boyd steps up to give one of his "we can survive this" speeches, but before he can even get a word out, a crow shows up, and then a murder of crow floated the sky. Now, we've seen people die in this town plenty of times, but we've never seen a swarm like this at a burial. Why now? Why Jim? And why is it happening while Sophia is standing right there? Even she looks confused, or she's putting on a hell of an acting performance. If you look at the crow lore in this show, these birds don't just show up for the scenery, they are basically the town's security system, the point of no return. They swarm the fallen tree when new people arrive to let them know they're officially trapped. And they act as a censor too. Remember when Tilly was doing that tarot reading for Fatima? A crow literally suicide dived into the window to stop her from revealing the truth about that pregnancy.
See what the cards have to say.
And then there's Julie's comment. She thought the crows were laughing. That is a terrifying thought.
Why did it feel like those crows were celebrating?
It means they aren't just mindless animals, they're an audience. So if they're swarming Jim's funeral, it's a massive red flag. It usually means one of 2 things. Either the town is celebrating Jim's death, or forbidden knowledge is near. After the funeral, everyone heads to the diner. Victor approaches the Matthews family and gives them a drawing. Victor doesn't speak emotionally very often, so when he gives a drawing, it means something. It's a picture of a family. That could be Victor trying to preserve Jim through memory, or reminding Ethan what family means before things get worse. Ethan asks Tabitha if he can go to Colony House with Victor. That's interesting because Ethan always gravitates toward Victor when the mystery deepens, almost like he knows Victor is part of the answers. Then Sophia starts doing what she really came here to do. And trust me, it's not grieving. She starts picking Kenny's brain, asking if anything like the crow swarm has happened before. On the surface, it sounds like an innocent newcomer just trying to understand the local weirdness, but she's actually building a case. She asks when things started getting bad. Kenny explains that after Boyd found the talismans, people were safe for a while. Then around the night his dad died, things changed. Then the Pratt family died. Then Jim and Tabitha's family arrived with Jade. Sophia quickly connects the dots. So things got worse after the Matthews family came? Then Julie walks up, trying to relate because both recently lost fathers. And Sophia uses that opening perfectly. She basically frames the Matthews family as the town's bad luck charm, but she's smart. She makes it sound like Kenny was the one saying it. That is top-tier manipulation. She's not just asking questions, she's planting seeds of resentment. She knows that monsters outside are one thing, but if she can get the townspeople to turn on each other, that's how you really break a place. The man in yellow already told us his favorite part is when they tear themselves apart. As Julie storms out, you can see it on Sophia's face. She can barely hold back a smirk. She's like a gardener watching a poisonous plant finally sprout. Her little seed of chaos worked perfectly, and she is absolutely loving the drama. Then we cut back to Fatima. As Ellis walks in, Elgin shows up carrying a container. And Fatima gives him a subtle signal to just keep going. Ellis, being the supportive husband he is, tries to help Fatima the only way he knows how. He takes her out to the car graveyard and basically sets up a DIY rage room. Honestly, solid husband points for Ellis there. He tells her to let the anger out without hurting anyone, hands her the weapon of choice, and she grabs the bat immediately. Then she starts smashing those cars like she's been training for the MLB her whole life. And can you even blame her? Think about what she's been through. She thought she was pregnant, but that child turned out to be the monster Smiley. She killed Tilly in a moment of pure madness. No one believed her. Her own body betrayed her, and this town has chewed her up and spit her out. Every swing of that bat isn't just about breaking glass. It's years of trauma, grief, and Fromville nonsense finally coming out. It's the most relatable thing I've seen all season. Sometimes you just need to hit a sedan with a baseball bat. Then we cut to Victor. He's showing Ethan his room, now shared with his dad Henry. And honestly, Victor trying to adjust to having a parent again after all these years is one of the most quietly emotional parts of the show. But Ethan is on a mission. He's asking about lakes. Victor mentions the Brundles, which we've seen before, but he adds that the place is creepy. Victor lived in a town full of skin-eating monsters for decades, and he's still calling this lake creepy. That should be a massive no-entry sign for everyone else, but Ethan is persistent. Victor finally cuts a deal. He'll take Ethan there, but only if Ethan spills the beans on what he's actually searching for. And then we get the reveal. We cut to the water and there's Jade, just floating. It's classic Jade. He's either reached peak enlightenment or he's having a total mental breakdown. Probably both. Ethan says he needs to find the Lake of Tears. It has magical powers. And apparently Jim told Ethan about it near the RV. This is the part that should have us all worried. In From, there is no such thing as just a story. Every time Ethan talks about a quest or a fairy tale, it ends up being a literal, dangerous location in the woods. If Ethan thinks there's a Lake of Tears, it's probably out there somewhere. And knowing this show, it's not going to be filled with actual water. It's starting to feel like the show is blending Ethan's imagination with the town's reality, and that usually leads to someone getting hurt. Then we see Julie gearing up for a solo mission, but of course Randall catches her. She's headed back to the ruins of their old house, the place where it all literally fell apart. Her goal is to find Ethan's books. These aren't just bedtime stories anymore, they're the instruction manuals that taught Ethan about story walking. Julie is starting to think that if she can master the stories, she can master whatever is happening to her, and maybe, just maybe, find a way to save her dad. The show has been hitting us over the head with the idea that stories matter in Fromville, so Julie digging through the wreckage for a literal guidebook makes a lot of sense. And then there's Randall. Love him or hate him, you've got to give him credit. He's slowly becoming the guy who actually gets stuff done. He insists on going into the ruins himself, so Julie doesn't have to risk it. He's crawling through the debris looking for a simple blue bag. On the way, he finds a dead body, and it belongs to Tom the bartender. Poor Tom. He didn't even get a proper burial. Now, Kenny and Sophia are in the church talking. Kenny tells her she needs to pick a place to stay. Sophia says she wants to stay with Sarah. When Kenny tries to warn her that it might not be safe, Sophia casually responded, "Because of what Sarah did," and she just brushes it off by claiming she heard people talking. But let's be real, Sophia has been in town for what, 5 minutes? She seems to know way too much, way too fast. Kenny should have been suspicious of her at this point. Kenny ends up taking her to Sarah, who surprisingly agrees to let her stay. So the town's newest mystery person is now bunking with the town's most traumatized psychic. Meanwhile, Boyd goes back to Acosta. He's actually willing to give her that bullet she asked for, but he's got a catch. He takes her to a storage room and tells her to investigate it like a crime scene. This is honestly one of Boyd's best leadership moves. He knows that if you give a broken person a job, especially one they were good at in the real world, it might just be enough to pull them back from the edge. When Acosta calls him out on it and asks what he's really doing, Boyd drops a line that just breaks your heart. He tells her, "You remind me of someone." We all know who he's talking about. He's talking about Abby. He couldn't help his wife when she lost her mind to this town, and he's clearly looking for a do-over with Acosta. He's trying to save her because it's the only way he can live with himself for not being able to save Abby. Then Tabitha grabs a drawing of the lighthouse. You can tell that image is basically burned into her brain at this point. It's the only exit sign she's ever actually seen work, even if it did drop her into a hospital in Maine. She sneaks into Donna's room at Colony House to pin the drawing up, and she leaves a note that is basically a living will. She asks Donna to look after her kids if things go south. That's how you know Tabitha isn't just exploring anymore. She's on a suicide mission. She's not planning for success. She's prepping for the worst-case scenario. But she doesn't get far before Henry catches her. He's a dad, so he's got that "I know you're lying" radar. Tabitha finally snaps and tells him the truth. She's going back to the lighthouse via the bottle tree, and she's taking the kids with her. Henry doesn't try to talk her out of it. He just says, "I'm coming too." He's been carrying the ghost of his wife Miranda for years, and she died trying to find that exact tree. He looks at the bottle tree and says, "This looks like the one she made back home, except for the hole." Now, Jade, Victor, and Ethan continue searching for the Lake of Tears. Ethan drops some serious logic for a kid. He wonders if the stories he thought he made up are actually real. And honestly, the kid is onto something. Think about Tabitha. She used to have nightmares about those red rocks in the settlement and thought they were just bad dreams, until she walked right into them in the woods. In Fromville, imagination isn't just make-believe. It's more like a repressed memory or a psychic frequency. If Ethan can think it, it probably exists. But the mood shifts instantly. While they're walking, Victor suddenly freezes, and I mean dead in his tracks. He spots a pile of discarded clothes. It's the yellow suit from the man in yellow. Victor's reaction is visceral. He doesn't just cry or scream, he literally wets himself and panics. That is a level of pure primal terror we haven't seen from Victor in a long time. Tells you everything you need to know. Victor knows exactly who those clothes belong to. He isn't just scared of a monster, he's scared of a history he's been trying to forget for 40 years. It's a safe bet that the man in yellow was a major player in the original massacre that left Victor alone. And right on cue, a crow shows up. It's like the town's silent alarm just went off. Victor doesn't wait around for an explanation, he just bolts. And look, in this show, Victor is the ultimate survival expert. If Victor is running, you don't ask questions, you just run faster than him. When the guy who survived 40 years of night monsters loses his mind over a pile of clothes and a bird, you know everyone is in massive trouble. Now we shift to Tabitha. She tries to dive into the tree, but Henry physically tackles her to stop her. And that's when the show hits us with the big reveal. The boy in white is back. But he's not a boy anymore. He's hit puberty. He's an adolescent now, which is a total game changer. If this entity can age, it means time is moving for him too. He's not a static ghost, he's evolving. He revels. Things have changed. The way home is no longer the same. And then the kicker, you're getting close, but you're running out of time. Then Ethan calls out. Tabitha blinks and poof, he's gone. Typical boy in white behavior. Show up, drop a terrifying riddle that helps no one, and vanish right when you have follow-up questions. Thanks for nothing, kid. Finally, we cut back to Fatma, and she tells Ella she's going to take a nap. But instead, she sneaks off to a room where Elgin is shoveling actual dirt into Colony House. Look, I've seen some strange DIY projects, but this is next level. What are they actually doing? Is it a ritual? Is she trying to grow something? Or is she just looking for a place to hide a body? At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if Fatima decides to bury Elgin in his own dirt. The signal she gave him earlier proves they are in this together. To wrap things up, we get a quiet, heavy moment with Boyd at Abby's grave. He's just a broken man talking to his dead wife, asking for some kind of sign or help because he's clearly running on empty, and the grave actually answers. A hand bursts out of the dirt and lunges for him. Boyd barely manages to scramble away, and we're left wondering, was that a hallucination? Is the town just playing its favorite game of torture the sheriff? Or is Abby, or whatever is wearing her skin, literally trying to pull him down with her? The timing is the most suspicious part. The second Boyd admits he's vulnerable and needs help, something reaches back. In Fromville, even when you get an answer to your prayers, it usually comes with a price and a set of claws. What do you guys think? Is the man in yellow coming for Victor? And what on earth is in that dirt? Let me know your theories in the comments.